don't got a plan. Catch me rolling through your city, yeah. Got my toes in the sand.
I think I got some wanderlust, but I don't give a damn. Touching down on the asphalt, passport stamps, don't know when all ends.
Hey. I ain't really trying to fuss about it, I just wanna take off on a Boeing jet. All I got's a little duffel bag full of underwear and a swim set. I'm getting comfy in the waiting room, sweats on in the dead of June. Beats on while I'm dancing out to the best tunes. See me, I'm Millie rocking on a jumbo jet. Turbulence got me feeling stressed, but panicking won't get me anywhere, so I'ma get some rest. I wake up in a different time zone, I'm hyped, but I'm balling on a tight.
7-footers, welcome back, and October has been jam-packed.
Listen, first of all, Wanderlust. I got no wanderlust today. It's monsooning outside.
It really is.
Ain't no toes in the sand out here
Heck
in these
no.
New York City streets.
No, heck no, in these streets in New York City on the East Coast. But it's a good day because, again, we are not alone.
We are not alone. We are joined by Jamal Murphy, co-host of the Bill Rhoden on Sports Podcast. You can find him on CBS Local. He does work with The Undefeated. You can find him on social media at The Blackatologist. What's good, Murph?
What's up, people? Great to be here.
So excited to have you here, Murph.
I know. I've been waiting for this.
Listen,
you know
man, we got you, man.
I'm like, what's up? It's NBA season. It's my time of year.
We're so glad we finally got you in here. We know you're so busy.
Yeah, listen, he's a busy dude out here in these streets,
Comes in
covering
and
all kinds of sports, you know.
Came in
got
the
kids.
suit jacket. The suit jacket.
Kids is the big thing. Kids, wife, it's not a game out here.
Hey, you got a good podcast voice though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Now that I'm finally hearing it in person.
All right. Appreciate it.
I like it. Now, since the previous weeks that we've had 2-hour episodes with you guys, we have gone over the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference, every single inside and out division of all teams. And now we're going to break things down a little bit more. We're still going to talk a little bit NBA and China controversy because LeBron James lit a couple fires today, so we have to talk about that. And then we're going to give you guys our season predictions.
Yeah, man.
I love predictions. It's one of my favorite parts of this.
It is the best because everyone can say how wrong we are at the end. However,
Exactly.
I will
Nobody
say,
remembers. Nobody.
Well, I'm going to make everyone remember because I was right about quite a few things, and we're going to go through that when we get there.
Here we go. Okay. Let's start on a serious note here. We got to talk about the latest on the NBA and China. Although the teams are back in the States, the controversy is still, I keep saying controversy.
Listen, it's
something like that.
It's a tongue twister because
it is a tongue twister.
Listen, they all got their foot in it.
Exactly. A lot of people have their foots in their mouths, so we need to talk about it here. Now, we have LeBron James making headlines this week about his comments, and everybody pretty much has been waiting for LeBron more than an athlete to speak out on this heavy, heavy story that we did not expect to go through preseason talking about, but we have to. As you guys know, we recapped you last week, talked about Daryl Morey's controversial comment, his tweet, which sparked a lot of angry protests about the already protests happening in China. So if you want to know that, go back to our latest podcast and recap yourself, plug it there. And let's talk about what LeBron James said now. We have him, he comes out at the presser on Monday at practice, and he says, I don't want to get in a feud with Daryl Morey, but I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand when he spoke. LeBron James said other things on the line about, basically seeming like he had a little chip on his shoulder about Daryl in his comments, said that although Daryl had freedom of speech when he was speaking, of course, he wasn't exactly thinking about the consequences at hand of his actions. It angered a lot of people thinking he's kind of jumping the fence a little bit, siding with the Chinese government over, the NBA and things like that. What I will say is, as a LeBron James fan, it was bold of him to speak out about it. He should have, since he speaks out about everything else and, dubs himself more than an athlete. And I think he's that kind of figure that should be speaking out about this. We've all been waiting for it. Do I think he could have chose his words a little more carefully? Of course. Do I think it was the worst response in the world? No. But I do think when you're tiptoeing around this type of subject, which I personally am not familiar at speaking about.
You're not a geopolitical expert?
I'm really not, and I don't, pretend to be, but I think he could have chose a little bit of a different approach, we'll say. But I'm going to open up the floor for you guys because I really want to hear what you think about this because a lot of people are angry.
Go ahead, Jack.
No, Murph, go. It's you, man.
Guest of honor.
I mean, yeah, I feel like he would have been better off not saying anything.
But if he didn't, I feel like people would have came for him.
Or at least wait till you understand the situation, because it came across to me as if he didn't really know what he was talking about. And actually, when I went back to listen to what he said, I think he said that at the very beginning. He said, well, I haven't really, I'm not really sure what's going on here. I don't like to speak before I know what's going on. But then he went ahead and spoke without knowing what's going on. To me, it was a bad look for LeBron, because he ends up coming out basically in favor of the Chinese government, like you said. I mean, we're in America. We're all from America. We're used to democracy. We're used to freedom. I mean, to come out against that for any other people, for any other reason, is shaky.
Yeah.
And I, hey, I feel like he made a mistake. I'm not saying, oh my God, I'm never going to listen to what LeBron says again.
Right.
He's still my guy. I still think LeBron is, one of the best, obviously, athletes to ever play the game, but also on both sides, off the court, also
of course.
done some great things. That doesn't cancel out what he's done.
Absolutely.
But I do think he made a mistake, and it makes me wonder who is advising him on these issues. At least keep him abreast of what the issue is, so he knows exactly what he's talking about. It's not like this was the first day it came out. This
10 days.
It was 10 days.
Yeah,
9-10 days
That's
ago.
what Jarod pointed out
Right.
before.
So somebody could have explained. I mean, everybody. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Politicians get briefed on what's going on. You need to be up on what the issues are before you speak, and then on top of that, for you not to be abreast of the situation, and for you to call someone else out to say that they are not educated on it. Come on.
That's a bad look. Look, I'm with you guys on this, and obviously this China thing is a complex issue, all right? But let's dive into it a little bit deeply here. So Daryl Morey sends out his tweet in support of the people in Hong Kong protesting, right? And what they are protesting, we talked about again last week, is their freedoms, right? The Chinese government wants to have an extradition bill which would allow them to basically go after anybody who they assume is an enemy of the state and pull them out of Hong Kong and bring them into China for trial and all the sort of legal system. And we know the Chinese court system has a 99% conviction rate. So all that basically means is if they think you're guilty of something, you're going to jail, right? And it's, again, eroding civil liberties and civil rights. So that is the issue. And the Chinese government, in and of itself, as we know, commits atrocities on a regular basis. So, by the way, does the United States government, FYI, if you're not aware of that. Here is the problem for the NBA and all the players involved. The money. And it's not $50, $100. It is billions of dollars. And does anybody have any... See, it's so hard for people to conceptualize what billions of dollars means. You can't fathom it. It's a lot. Now, the question is, do you sacrifice money for the rights of others and all that? It's much more complex than just yes or no. And here is where LeBron stepped in it. His anger was towards Daryl Morey, because Morey makes this comment ahead of the players going to China when Morey didn't have to be there, right? Morey wasn't going to China. He was going to be in Japan. So he didn't have to deal with any of that stuff. So the players go over there. They're the ones on the firing squad. And if you read the Shams Charania piece in The Athletic, when all the controversy went down, Adam Silver had a meeting, closed doors, with just the Nets and the Lakers players and himself. And he told the players, hey, I need you guys to talk to the media about how much we love China, et cetera, et cetera. And LeBron was like, why are we talking before you talk? Number one. And number two, why isn't Daryl talking? He's the one that started this mess. If he didn't tweet that out, we wouldn't be here right now. And that is where his ire is focused. Now, when he came out, and again, he had 9-10 days. And for LeBron, as someone who's so media savvy as he is, this is a colossal blunder on his part. That diction is so important, and he just used the wrong words. Miseducated and misinformed is not the words he wanted to use. The point he was trying to make was Daryl did not understand the ramifications for us, the players, that when he tweeted that out, we were going to be the ones that had to be left there holding the bag,
well, let me ask you this. What were the ramifications? Because this is what I was thinking about. To me, I don't really know what LeBron is talking about when he's saying, we were there. I mean, were their lives in danger, do you think?
So the thing about, as you know, in mainland China, when you're in a communist country, they can do whatever they want, essentially. I mean, they are the judge, jury, executioner. No one's going to stop them.
Of of 2 full NBA teams?
Sure. I mean, it's not like the NBA rolled over there with the United States Army. I mean, sure, they had NBA security, but I'm not saying this happened. But if they wanted to do whatever, they could do whatever they wanted.
So if you were there and you were a player, you would have felt you feel like you would have felt in danger?
Not if someone who understood the situation, probably not. For those young guys who maybe it was their first visit to China, who had no idea about communist regime, those guys had no clue. Yeah. They got families back at home who were, again, not educated about how that place works. And they're like, the biggest thing about when you leave American soil, we have certain freedoms and liberties here that are protected by the Constitution. Ain't no Constitution over there, right? Like, for you, they can do whatever.
They don't have a dictator constitution?
But the dictator can do what he wants, right? Like, so.
No,
I think surface level, though, too, and you brought up a good point, too, with these young guys who are just really, traveling for the first time, maybe.
Some of them, it's their first trip to China.
Terrifying.
They have no idea. They got their parents back at home, their mamas, their aunties going, what's going on over there? And they're like, I don't know. I'm just out here trying to play some basketball.
I think it's surface level terrifying when you think about things and you think about the different way of life over there. It's a culture shock.
It's just different. And again, my connection to it is my brother lives in mainland China. So I understand that it's not how you can't just do whatever. Not that you can do whatever you want in America, but again, you have certain liberties in America that don't exist over there. So bringing it full circle, where LeBron runs afoul and not everybody wants to come at him. And look, I am not one of these people who is trumpeting from the moral high ground, like later for all that nonsense, okay? Because as I said it before, and I'll say it again, we are all complicit. If you wear Nike clothes, if you shop at Walmart, listen, all of us, as part of this global commercialization and capitalism, we are all complicit in supporting not good government regimes like China, right? So stop. You all tweet on your iPhones so enough.
Most of us don't care.
Again,
period.
Most of us do not care.
And don't know and don't care.
Exactly. Where LeBron is coming into issues, the people who were waiting for him to fall are like, I thought you were # more than an athlete, right? And they want to use that to invalidate everything else he's done.
There are those, but I think he's getting it. That's the funny thing is he's getting it from all sides.
He's getting it from all sides.
So he's getting it from that side. People who never liked him, never liked what he stood for.
This is their thing. They got it now.
So they were just waiting. Mm-hmm. But then he's getting it from people like me also who are like, oh, man, I'm disappointed.
And he's getting it from me because here's my position. And it's not that I'm disappointed. It's LeBron's value systems are coming into conflict with what he wants to achieve as a businessman and a person in the world. He has said numerous times he wants to become a billionaire and own an NBA team.
Right.
I have a newsflash for everyone out there. You cannot amass billion-dollar wealth without compromising some of your values. I'm sorry. That is way too much money. Listen, everyone who is amassed, look at your favorite billionaires out there. Do a little cursory digging on them, and you'll find some things you're like, ooh, I didn't know they're into that.
Right.
Because you have to amass that kind of money, you have to do it on the backs of other people. That's just how it works. I'm not saying he shouldn't do it, but if that is your goal, it is going to come into direct conflict because let's keep it real. China is an important market for him in becoming a billionaire, for his movie and production company, Space Jam 2, for all his sneakers, all the products and stuff that he sells. That is a very important market. So I get that.
Let me ask you this, though. Do you think it was that calculated at this point for LeBron? Do you think that he is really crunching the numbers and saying, what I get from China? Or does he not understand the issue? Or does he, what is it?
He knows enough to know that I cannot piss off the Chinese government because this is where I get a market here. I want a Space Jam 2 to open in China. You know how much money he'll make in China with Space Jam 2? Tons, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what he wants to do. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's super calculating, but it is a chess move in that way. He just fumbled the way in which he delivered it. And again, the part where people are coming with the whole # more than an athlete, again, it doesn't invalidate that stuff to me.
That's corny.
But here is where the problem lies, in my opinion. He cannot link and make himself akin to people like Muhammad Ali, okay? Because Muhammad Ali...
But he doesn't do that.
He doesn't, but it's often said...
Right. Other people do that.
Muhammad Ali sacrificed. That dude went to jail and gave away years of his prime boxing, took his titles, lost earning potential.
And also, Muhammad Ali was brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
He knew what the issues were.
Exactly.
He studied the issues.
Well informed.
He could debate with
anybody.
Politicians.
Anybody.
Okay.
Anybody.
I'm not sure LeBron is at that level.
No. And the other thing, too, Colin Kaepernick, another one. This dude will never play the NFL again. That is real sacrifice. What sacrifice is LeBron actually making? And again, that doesn't diminish what he's doing here for children in the inner city, for equal rights for black people, for police, all that. I am down, and I will continue to support him for all of that.
Speaking out is somewhat of a sacrifice. I mean, because you don't know how people will react and whether people will still buy his sneakers, all that kind of stuff.
And again, there's levels to it, right? There's all these levels to the levels of sacrifice.
It's not on that level you're talking about.
And my thing is, but again, as I said, I'm not the person on the moral high ground. I don't care what level of sacrifice you're making. He's making some kind of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it, okay? It's just the way he handled it. He bumbled it by saying misinformed and uneducated when he then didn't follow up. And it's not that he doesn't know what's going on in China. He does know. He can't come out and say, I'm against Chinese government, because what that means is all LeBron things will get pulled immediately. No questions asked.
Yeah.
And again, that's affects his bottom line. And he said that affects a lot of people financially. He hit all the markers. So that's what it is.
And now he's on the receiving end or the defensive end of a lot of backlash. So I'm curious to see if this continues on, because it obviously continues to make headlines today, how he'll speak out. I mean, he has followed up with some tweets on a few days later. He said, quote, "Let me clear up the confusion. I do not believe there was any consideration for the consequences and ramifications of the tweet." He's referencing Daryl Morey's tweet. Quote, "I'm not discussing the substance. Others can talk about it."
And the substance, of course, being what the Chinese government is doing to its people. And that's the thing. You can't just skate by that.
But what's so hard about saying, I mean, the Chinese government it's a two-way street. It's America, an American business doing business with the Chinese, right? The Chinese have their way of living. We have our way of living. It's not the same, right? We understand where they're coming from. They should understand where we're coming from. I don't understand what would be so bad with saying we are for freedom, or what's so bad even what Morey said. They know that that's a typical American thing to say, because what Morey did.
Because the Chinese government.
Do you know who you're in business with? China,
right, exactly.
China.
But their thing is, the Chinese government, they're petulant in that way. Their thing is, because they want to control their business partners the same way they control their people. You say anything outlandish, we're going to silence you and make you not say that. And because the history has shown every American company that has spoken out against them, has kowtowed once China said, we're going to pull away your stuff. They've all capitulated and apologized. And so that's what they expect. This company did it. We expect you to do the same exact thing. And again, I'm not faulting LeBron. He is playing the global capitalism game that everybody else plays. He shouldn't be the one left holding the bag. And again, that is where I think his frustration comes from.
But he didn't have to speak.
I didn't even start this tweet.
He didn't have to say anything.
He didn't, but here's the thing.
He kind of has an obligation to speak because of the platform.
Because of who he is.
Because of the more than an athlete platform.
He can't no comment.
So let's see what happened here. He spoke, right?
Yes.
Got backlash. Then in the tweet you just read, what did he say? I'm not going to speak on it.
There was also...
You should have just said no comment from the beginning.
Say that from the beginning then.
There was also a second tweet right after the follow-up tweet that said, quote, "My team in this league just went through a difficult week. I think people need to understand what a tweet or a statement can do to others. And I believe nobody stopped and considered what would happen. Could have waited a week to send it."
And of course, the negative side effect was like, well, LeBron, your team had a tough week. How about the poor Chinese people who had to go?
Who are burning his jerseys.
Right. So it's just
burning his jerseys in protest in Hong Kong.
Again, it is a complex situation because of the dollars involved, and everyone involved is complicit.
But what's the complex situation? That's what
the complex situation is the NBA and its members cannot come out and say we totally stand against everything the Chinese government. They cannot say that.
Right. You have to be political. You have to be
diplomatic about it. Which
Silver has done.
But the complexity is, to people here are saying, again, they look to pull up all tweets. Injustice everywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, right? So, you are now saying that you are okay with injustices here for the money, but you're not okay with it. Listen,
right?
That's not my argument. I don't make that argument, but that is the argument that everyone else is making outside. Right. And again,
I think that's fair criticism of LeBron.
Right.
Okay. Now, does LeBron speak for me on every issue? No.
Right.
Do I expect him? No. But it's fair criticism to come at him like that.
Yeah.
Do I think he knows more about the domestic situations that he speaks out
sure.
on? For sure. You know, do I think he's on point when he speaks out on those situations? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, he was not. And it is fair because injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Right, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so you just opened yourself up to that.
Yeah.
I would appreciate if LeBron, you know, really took a look at the situation. And like I keep saying, all you have to we know as an American, you know, it's not hard. Everybody says we are for democracy. You know, we're a democratic country,
sort of.
I mean, compared.
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
yes,
ideally,
yes, of course, yes,
right. So
yeah.
just speak in idealistic terms.
Right,
You know, that's the political thing to do.
Right, yes.
You can say, I want freedom for everybody.
Right.
They obviously, I don't know what's going on there.
Right,
I'm not I don't really know the intricacies of what's going on in China.
Right.
But I am for freedom. He didn't even say that.
Yeah. Again, the point is he could have worded it a lot better. As I said, diction is so important. And once you
But not
mess
just
up on the
worded.
word,
You're acting like he said one or two. His whole thing was a mess.
Yeah, and that's
okay.
And once you go down that path, it's now trying to take your foot out, and it's too late. What do they say? The first rule, like when you hit oil, stop digging.
Right.
Bro, he kept digging, and you made it worse. And again, the idea of I'm not informed, brothers, Google. You don't listen. A cursory search of Google will tell you what's going on. You don't gotta do. You don't do.
And
deep dive
I'm mad at
history.
Rich Paul. I'm mad at
Everybody.
Who's working for you?
Everybody.
Like
Rich Paul, his
should have
media
had. You know, who are
consultant.
you? Who are you? Trump? You,
Right,
you only read the bullet points or
Exactly.
something. Like give this.
Listen.
Put some paper in front of him. This is the situation before you speak out. You know, I know you're busy. I know you have games. You're worried
All
about
that.
team
All
chemistry
that.
in
All
China
that.
and all that
All
stuff.
that.
But who is working for him that doesn't understand that he was going to be asked these questions?
And guess what? You rehearse what you're going to say.
Right.
I mean,
Not to mention, let's be real here.
PR 101.
PR 101, and I'm sorry, like we said, this story broke and was brewing over the
10
top
days.
for
10
10
days.
days. You had more than enough time to at least, get a phone call, Rich Paul, anyone on the phone and say, listen, I know I'm going to be asked.
Yes.
I know I'm me. I have this platform. I am advertising that I am more than an athlete, which means I pretty much, have to give some type of answer here.
And it's not Rich Paul.
What's it
LeBron
gonna
is an
be?
actual media
Well,
consultant.
of course,
Like,
yes, the
what's
team
his
and
nickname?
whoever else.
With the media consultant?
No, LeBron's. The king?
King, yeah.
Yeah,
the king.
okay. You're supposed to know everything,
I
bro.
was going to say, King shouldn't be kowtowing to
Okay.
to foreign dictators, huh?
Any last thoughts, boys, before we move on?
No, the only thing I'll say is Enes Kanter did some subtweeting of LeBron.
Yeah.
And
pretty funny.
That's where we're going.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time. All I will say is that Enes Kanter has legitimate stakes in this game, right?
Yeah.
This man is an enemy of the Turkish state, all right? The president of Turkey, Erdogan, like, if Enes sets foot in Turkey, arrested on site, going to jail right away.
His family's in jail.
His family can't leave the country. I mean, they hunt him every time he's around, and he travels somewhere. They revoked his passport. So here is a man who has legitimate stakes in the game. So I understand his idea of, like, listen, for me, there is no cost for freedom. Like, it's not. Well, the cost is my own ability to do what I want to do, and I'm willing to pay that price.
He was also being petty.
But
I think. I mean, in reference to LeBron,
well, because
they have their own feud.
Because those two have their own little
exactly.
back
So
and forth.
he came out real fast.
but
he
like
was waiting for LeBron. He was one of those. He is
was
one of
waiting.
those people.
He was
waiting for LeBron.
But I mean, even still, right? He was at his mosque this week praying,
Right.
and all the protesters came in like, we're looking for him. I mean,
Right.
this is his daily existence, death threats, all that. So I mean,
True.
listen. All I'm going to say is there's levels to this, right?
Of course.
Everyone has some kind of stake in the game. Kanter's got the most stakes in the game, right? And so, it's- listen, the question.
But the funny thing is, I didn't hear Kanter say anything specifically about China.
He did not.
He did not.
Well, because
he did not.
Because he's got his
Let's
own
be
problems in
clear,
Turkey.
yeah.
Right? Like,
Does he have shoes? Is he selling shoes in China too?
he ain't that kind of player.
All right.
Anybody rocking
Let's just be-
Canters?
it's fair game for everybody.
Anybody rocking Canters?
Okay, now we got the geopolitical news out of the way.
We did.
That was
Thank goodness. Notice, friends, I stayed silent, but I am still here.
Back to basketball.
Let's get back to the topic at hand, which is pretty much, my bread and butter, not this. But let's talk about a little preseason storylines. I know everybody doesn't like to get hype on preseason,
Oh, I'm
but
hype.
thank you.
Listen.
Thank you. I am hype
Murph
too.
could not be more hype right now.
The thing things that we're seeing, we're getting a little taste of everything. This is when we really get to sink our teeth into these guys and make some, early on predictions and everything like that. We have to obviously start with the headline maker himself, Zion Williamson.
That is
who,
Murph's boy.
I never heard of him.
Who is putting up historic numbers, okay, in his preseason. Let's just talk a little bit here about, maybe a little small, not rim-shaking, ridiculous slam he put down on the Hawks. Finished with 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals.
That was light.
A few days later, he plays the Bull, does a little more light work.
Right.
29 points on 12 of 13 for shooting from the field. Not to mention, kids, he's shooting, 71% from the field?
His true shooting is 73.7%.
I
think that's what it was at Duke.
Jeez.
Something crazy.
So
Averaging 23.3 in the preseason.
We
the Pelicans
have-
are undefeated. Again, all preseason. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, it's
but-
preseason.
yeah, preseason. But
He
we
looks
have
in preseason form too. He doesn't really look in his best shape either.
Well,
Yeah.
it
that's
takes
the
us some
question.
time.
Well, I'm going to cede the floor to Murph because Murph is the biggest Zion cape wearer
What are you
in this
talking
room.
about?
That's your dude.
Hey.
That's
He's
your
just a
dude.
good player. Man.
Zion putting up historic numbers on the non-Zion led Pelicans because it's not his team, they've said.
Drew Holiday.
That's not his
It's
team.
Drew Holidays.
Drew Holiday.
So, Murph, give me your take on Zion. We know you're a big fan.
Come on, man.
How's he doing in
I'm
this
just a basketball
preseason?
fan. I'm just a basketball fan. No, I mean, he looks great. He's probably exceeded my expectations. He looks like he's back at Duke. Like that's what I
Yeah,
tweeted when
he
I'm
could
watching
play
him.
with the
Like
big boys.
12 for 13. That's the type of stuff he was doing in the ACC. The NBA game is more wide open.
Yep.
College might have been the harder game in terms of strategy
and the way in which they play
and
defense.
and in the
Yeah.
paint and trying to figure out how to maneuver in the paint.
Yeah, I
you got
mean,
kids
ripping
taking
shoes.
kids taking fake charges
Right.
every
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
Zones
Right.
left
And not that
right.
they play better defense in college. They allow them to foul more
Yeah.
without
Right.
calling it
Yeah.
in college.
You know,
So
and he was able. That's why I think college was a great learning experience for him. He learned how to navigate through that, how to not draw charges, and when people were just flopping and all that kind of stuff in college and the ACC. So now, the game's more wide open. He has no problem getting in the lane. People worried about, could he dominate physically the NBA like he did college? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the Atlanta game. You got like Alex Len, who's a big dude. He's like 7'2".
Yeah.
LeBron just, give a little elbow, he's out of there,
Mm-hmm.
and he's dunking on you. He's just, to me, and I said this before the season, I kind of look at him potentially as like, being used as like as a Giannis, where Giannis, had the ball in his hand, can get to the lane, didn't have much of a jump shot even last year.
Right.
He might have it this year, we'll see. But he gets to the lane and can do what he wants. And people say, oh, well, he's a 7-footer. Well, when Zion's in the air, he's a 10-footer.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
with strength and muscle.
He's Barkley with better athleticism.
Right.
Yeah,
which
a
is-
lot of comparisons
which
to
is
him,
kind
too.
of scary.
Yeah.
Because Barkley's one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, and Murph knows this. We talked about this all season last year during the college season. I was a wait and see on Zion in the NBA. Not because I didn't think he'd be good. It's like,
Yeah.
listen, he's the most hyped guy since LeBron. So everyone then assumes he's going to be LeBron James. Look, LeBron might be the greatest player of all
And
time.
they're different players.
That's a lot of expectations to put on this young kid.
And we've talked about it.
If he has Charles Barkley's career, that'll be a hell of a career for him.
Right.
Charles Barkley's been an MVP. Like, let's not act like
That's a great career.
you know what I mean. So
And think about what we brought up before, too. A lot of people are knocking Zion for his build and his figure, kind of comparing him a little bit to an early on Joel Embiid, but he's already putting up these numbers, and he's not slow. The kid's
No,
not slow.
I think what's really impressing me is the athleticism was apparent at Duke. It's jumping off the charts in the NBA.
Yes. And he's in the paint.
And he's playing with other top flight athletes, and he's looking like he could be
Right.
the best athlete in the NBA right now.
And I
Right,
don't care what anybody says. When you're a rookie and you make that transition from college to the NBA, you're not perfect. It's rusty. You make mistakes. Your physicality shows. That's how everybody knows rookies are on the floor. You watch the numbers dip. You see the speed slow down. With this kid, he is running with the big dogs, and you cannot tell he is a rookie.
And what I will say is that he will inevitably show rookie signs, right?
Of course.
He's going to hit the rookie wall at some
Mistakes,
point because this will be the most basketball he's played. The other thing, too, is as the book gets out, teams will start packing the paint and say, well, you got to shoot jumpers to beat us now.
Trying to shut him
We
down.
ain't letting you just come in the lane and dunk on us all night.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Well, I would assume they're trying to do that already. I mean, they know
the preseason's kind of like.
but I mean, if you're, I know if I'm guarding you,
Right.
I
I'm
don't want to
backing
get
off.
dunked
Yeah,
off.
I'm not
So
getting
people
up
are
close.
kind of doing that already, and they don't know how fast
Yes.
how quick his first step is,
And they're seeing
how
that
athletic
now.
he is.
And so now it might be you back off 2 spaces to give him
And
that quick first
also,
step.
that brings up another part is people didn't really appreciate his game, his complete game, because he was so athletically dominant.
He passes pretty well
But he has a handle. First of all, if you come out at all,
Yep.
he can in and out you. That's just one move. He has a true handle, especially for his size. It's no joke. He also has a post game.
He does.
Right. So you could say, oh, I'm gonna back up off him. And make him. He can dribble into you
That's
and
the
post
thing.
you up,
If he
and then
gets
overpower you.
If he gets the
Still.
shoulder, he'll knock you off the block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Barkley. Like
Yeah,
you talk
yeah.
about Barkley. Barkley
Yeah.
used to do that. Oh, you could play off him, but he's just gonna
He'll
dribble into
muscle you.
So you force the double team, and then he can pass also, and he's a very smart kid. And the thing about this preseason is, I'm watching him closely, and I'm like, I think he has much more to show. I don't even think
yeah.
I don't
He'll be a
even
lot better.
I don't even think he's in tip top condition.
No.
No.
He still looks a little heavier than he did at Duke. I'm watching him. He hasn't shown anything defensively.
No.
It's almost like he's been taking that part of the game off
Right,
in
yeah.
preseason. And maybe he's smart like that. Maybe it's just preseason.
Or looking
he's
exposed,
just so
right?
tired.
Yeah,
It's a faster 24-second game. Maybe he's
Way
running up and down.
quicker.
He's tired. He hasn't even shown anything on defense yet.
Right,
He's
right.
not running around blocking shots like he
Right.
was in the
Like you-
ACC.
right.
So I still think we
Oh.
could possibly see that
If he
moving
hits
forward.
his ceiling defensively, then you're talking about a perennial MVP candidate, right? Because
Right.
it's like, well, what
Let
are
me
you
ask
going
you
to do?
this: Could he be an All-Star this year?
Yes.
He will get
Yeah.
the fan votes for sure.
He will.
No, don't play me like that. You know what I mean.
I think he can.
Would he deserve it
Yes.
from you?
He's waiting on me to answer.
He is.
I'm going to qualify it. If he's leading the team in scoring and they are looking like a team that's contending, they don't have to be in the playoff picture, but if they're like around that 9-10, like
If he's putting up these preseason,
yeah,
numbers.
for sure.
Yes.
Because what will happen is, the coaches and the players will be like, listen, we respect your game, but ain't no rookie coming in here and starting in the All-Star game right away. Like, that's not, it's very rare that happens. LeBron didn't even do that.
Well, you have more of a chance to start because that's where the fan voting comes in.
But the fan is only 50% of the vote.
Right.
So
Now.
yeah. So
Right.
It'll be the coaches and
Nice.
the players to like kind of jump in and like cut that out. Look,
Get me excited for
I-
All-Star. Clay's going to be reevaluated then. It's going to be so fun in Chicago.
I am
Yep.
very excited to see what he does this year. I think, first of all, not to mention one last thing before we move on to our next thing. He's playing in the right system for him too, with Gentry and that up and down style.
Right.
Man, they
You
might
like
score
that.
130 points a game. New Orleans. Now they might give up another 100.
They have a squad. They actually have a squad.
They got and so he scores so many points in transition, man. Like they grab that ball off the board, he goes and he can lead the break himself.
Right.
So it's
Unselfish.
He'll score a lot and get a lot of points.
And he's even taken a couple three. He hit a three the other day.
He'll take 'em. At least he
was
takes them.
Right. That's more than half the battle is taken.
Unlike another
So that means
player
he's
that we know.
only going to get better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
Sky's the limit. My only thing is like, look, again, greatest, most high prospect since LeBron. He may not be LeBron. Let's calm down.
I mean,
That's all I'm saying.
in a way, there's more justified of him being hyped than LeBron because LeBron all we saw was high school against high school competition.
Right.
We knew he was great.
Right.
Zion, at least we saw
saw him
versus
against college.
in
We saw him
college
in college.
competition
We saw him in
and
college.
playing against bigger dudes. So we'll see. To me, like you said, sky's the limit.
The limit.
The only thing I worry about is injury.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I worry about because
Yeah.
it's almost like it's too good to be true when I watch this dude.
And
It's
also,
scary.
Right.
It's
Look,
scary.
he seems like he's got a great work ethic, but once he hits that first max extension, how much does he keep pushing to want to be the best? Because remember, you can get everyone in the NBA is good, right? 450 best players in the world. You know how good you got to be the best player in the
But
world.
he does seem like he has
like
that.
it
Seems like he has that
Yeah.
want to be
As
the best.
Pharrell recently quoted in GQ,
I know where you're going with it.
humility is a skill set.
It is.
And you
I
must
hear that.
practice it every day.
It sure
Especially you, right?
Oh, yeah. All right, Merv, hit me with it already.
Love it, Murph. That's
That's-
it. Hit her where it counts.
That's my cue to move on. All right, we have to talk about Nick Nurse, okay, coach of the Toronto Raptors. We have a reporter, Josh Lewenberg. He's a beat reporter for Toronto. He asked Nick Nurse about how the new guys are fitting in with the team, namely Stanley Johnson and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. And Nick Nurse's response is, let's just say it wasn't sugar-coated. I'm going to read you a little bit of something here. Okay, so here's the context for you guys. In the terms of the team's defensive identity, he asked, how they've been defensively and mentally within the game, specifically the two guys I named. Nurse says, quote, nope. Those guys have not understood, A, how hard we play, B, our schemes, that defense is a priority for them, etc. We've got some work to do with that crew. I tell them there's a couple spots come Tuesday. There's a couple spots there open if somebody wants them. And I keep telling them, show me you're going to play defense. Show me you're going to play hard. Show me you understand our coverages. And then whatever you do on the other end, you're going to get opportunities just because of who you're on the floor with, and they'll come to you. You don't have to come down and occupy 95% of your mind with how you're going to break down and get your next shot. It's not going to get you on the floor right now. So we've got some work to do. We've got to find who's going to blend in quickly and defensively with this crew. Thoughts?
That's NBA championship head coach Nick Nurse talking. That's what that says to me.
Amen.
I won a title, so now I'm going to talk my talk.
Right.
True.
It's funny. I almost forgot he won a title.
I was going to say.
You just reminded me.
He was coach. Was he coach of the year? No, he was in the running, though.
Bud was coach of the year.
He was my pick, actually. Yeah.
Listen, you win a title, you can talk that talk.
That's true.
Yeah. He's got job security, and listen, Rondé and Stanley got to play better defense. I mean, Nick's also going to find out what life is like when you don't have one of those guys on your team in the NBA.
Facts.
And we all talk about it all the time. You don't win in this league without those kinds of guys. Now, their hope is Pascal develops into becoming one of those guys.
Right.
But right now, they don't have one. So Pascal could be that, but hey, he's got to work, and he's going to grind and work on those guys. Because, look, I don't think Toronto wants to not make the playoffs this year.
Right.
He better make the playoffs this year.
He wants to go back. So
yeah.
Right, and you're right. He's a championship coach. So, I mean, he didn't have to do this last year, maybe, because you had Kawhi. Or he has to coach him up like this.
Or he had the clout to do it last year, maybe.
And he didn't have the clout. You're right, and now he does. Yeah. And now he has to coach these guys up. It is surprising that Rondé is
Rondé especially, yeah.
Because you would think
because Rondé, that's Rondé's. I mean, let's be honest. He ain't doing nothing on the offensive end. So
yeah, like Stanley Johnson, I can see.
Right.
Rondé, I mean, he came from the Nets, good organization.
Right.
I always slept on Rondé,
though. Maybe he's sleeping himself. Maybe he's not good on the defensive end.
Maybe he's just mad. He's north of the border,
Hey,
he's in the league.
What are you going to do? You got to make the most of it.
Shoot, you win the league.
You could be mellow.
You
could be mellow.
You could definitely be mellow out the league.
100%. Hundo right there.
Sad topic.
Any more to say, boys, before I close things in?
No. We're ready to move on to.
Do your thing, Nurse. Keep coaching.
Talk your talk, Nick.
That's right. Okay. Let's move on here to a fun B block we have. Jarod's getting ready here.
Prediction time.
Season predictions from what we have seen so far. We have a slew of different awards here that we're all going to give our take on. And then we compare at the end of the season, which is fun, to see how wrong Jarod was.
I mean
all of us, if we were.
Because I was so right last year.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. Jarod was impressive.
I killed it last year. I was really good.
He did. Okay, boys. Let's kick things off with an NBA Finals matchup. Who are we predicting?
I'm going to say 76ers versus the Clippers.
Wait a minute.
Clippers win in 7.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I had.
Wait, guys, I'm not joking with you right now. That's exactly what I had.
That's why I wanted to go Lakers for some reason because of LeBron. Yeah. I just feel like, but you think about it, I just feel like the Doc Rivers,
more complete
Clippers,
team,
more depth.
Yeah, way more depth.
More depth, more complete team. The defense, in my opinion, will be the best defense in the league.
I mean, between them and Philly, I mean, my God, Philly can throw out a lineup of Matisse Thybulle, who, by the way, is incredible defensively, Ben Simmons, Al Horford, Joel Embiid, and Josh Richardson. Good luck scoring. They do that for 5 minutes, you might not score a point for 5 minutes.
Not to mention, think about
head coach-wise, you satisfied? You confident?
So here's the thing about Brett Brown. It's put a feast or famine with him. He could either win Coach of the Year this year, or if they come out to a shaky start, he might get the boot.
Right.
That's how crazy it is for him right now.
Yeah.
Because remember, he's not Elton's guy. Elton's the new GM, and Brett is not Elton Brand's guy.
I think he's their most in part right now because he rocked with them through a lot of adversity.
Yes, he was there through the whole process when they were losing like 80 games this season. Yeah,
and now it's like they have a whole new level playing field. But I mean, you can't be coaching in Doc Rivers. And the Clippers roster, I think, is more deep.
That roster is that's why the Clippers come out of the West. I think, obviously, of course, you have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, but again, Pat Beverly. You got Montrezl Harrell. Lou Williams can cook every second unit in this
defensive
league.
nightmare.
Underrated Shamit. I brought him up to somebody. They started laughing at me. I'm like, dude, Landry's starting last year in the playoffs.
Hey.
By the way, this team without a bona fide star last year took the fully healthy Golden State Warriors to 6 games.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yup. Okay. I mean, wow. That really, I can't believe we all have a unanimous answer.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy because of how open the playing field
and
is
because
now.
we didn't talk about it ahead of time.
We did not.
Right.
We did not.
But shows where our head's at.
Okay. Going from there, Finals MVP, if these two teams make it.
I think we might all have the same guy here.
Oh, and I'm going to say 7, too. In 7.
Yeah, I said in 7. We might have a different Finals MVP because I'm actually going to go Paul George if the Clippers win.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went Paul George.
Interesting.
We went Kawhi, and I'm like, well, Kawhi's already won 2 Finals MVPs.
I'm going to go with Kawhi again.
I'm going to go with Kawhi again.
Yeah, I just felt like, I don't know, because Paul was kind of in that MVP talk last year and then kind of fell off. The question is, for a Finals series, I mean, this isn't a regular season award.
Yeah.
Well, let's say he shuts down whoever's got a guard on the other end, and he's hit some big shots in key moments.
Which he hasn't done.
Yeah, he'd be my close second. But what persuaded me to do Kawhi for Finals MVP is because we've seen it. Not to mention, I always
multiple times.
And I always talk about this too, and I feel like a broken record when I say this, but before his Raptors run, he played 9 games with the Spurs. He is dying to play basketball. He's just dying to.
You just forgot about what he did that season prior. He was in the MVP conversation.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, because he had to sit so much. This kid is literally fiending.
Is there going to be load management the same exact way they were last year? He only played 65 games.
So.
It might not
which took him out
of the MVP run.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. It also took him out of NBA first team.
Right.
But humble Kawhi doesn't care about that.
As he said to me once when I talked to him, I'd rather win Finals MVP.
So you think he's in the 60s, 60 to 70?
He might play 70, 72.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But I
think they're going to load management
for
sure, especially with this team.
Mm-hmm. And first of all, Paul George is going to miss the first, 10 games, Doc said, of the season?
Right.
So they're going to be working stuff back into play anyway. And I like that. Let Pat Beverly and those other guys, work and gets them reps, which is, listen, this Clippers team's going to be a problem. Lakers will be good too. Obviously, any team that has LeBron and Anthony Davis as their top 2 players.
Right.
Hello.
The key is health.
Yeah.
With those 2 guys and maybe Rondo.
I worry about their depth as the Lakers.
I was watching in preseason.
But think about.
I don't like the roster
at all.
What I do like about the Lakers, though, that I don't think a lot of people highlight, or maybe it's just looked over, whatever. The basketball IQ on that team.
It's super high.
Rondo?
It's super. Listen,
LeBron James?
Those guys all know where to be and what to do at all times.
Oh.
But as Murph said, it's about injury. Can those guys stay
Rondo
healthy?
hasn't played a full season how long?
Exactly. And again, in a 7-game series where your bench is going to be short anyway, you could argue against anybody. They have the 2 best players on the floor. You could argue.
These also won't be the same benches, guys.
I mean, we'll see.
Okay, let's move on to regular season MVP.
So he said he's coming into the season in his best shape ever, and he's ready to do it.
Take my guy again?
I'm going Joel Embiid, baby.
Good pick. Wasn't mine, but good pick.
That was mine.
JoJo.
Joel Embiid was
Murph,
mine. I thought I was going to be like,
Murph, we're back.
I thought I was going to be like, oh, wow. Where'd you get that from?
As much as we fool around in our group chat, we are almost always aligned in our basketball thoughts. We see the game very similarly.
I mean, so I had Embiid. I thought about LeBron. So to me, but the West is so crazy. So I just have a feeling they come out the East. Yeah. So Embiid, maybe even I don't discount Greek Freak having a chance.
I thought about Anthony Davis actually.
Yeah,
I was actually like, I might go Anthony Davis because if LeBron's going to cede control to him, I kind of like that. Mm-hmm. But again, with Embiid too, it's about staying healthy for all these guys and playing enough games.
Right, and he wants it.
Embiid wants it. My big thing is they got to manage his minutes. Last year, he was averaging 36 minutes or 37 minutes up through December. Way too many minutes early. He's got to be down around that 33, 34 at that point. That way he can play more games.
What about you?
Why haven't we talked about James Harden, who got robbed last year?
I think Harden should, at a minimum, have 2 MVPs right now. The year that
I know
he should have 2.
Well, he's going to get it this year.
I disagree.
I think it's voter fatigue. The voters are done with him. I think the NBA.
Yeah, no one wants to see that one-leg jumper stuff. If he pulls that out, he's getting no votes.
James, I am here for you.
That this is
I know he'll hit 40% of them, but I don't want to see that.
You know this is a pro James Harden podcast.
I do, and I'm very surprised his name wasn't even tossed.
But
out
it's
here.
only because I know how the voters think. They're fatigued.
He
they're
knows
fatigued.
how the voters think.
I do. They're fatigued and done with him. They are.
I think you have a good point, but I am still standing by my pick.
I love
James
it.
Harden, he was robbed last year. Giannis, you're great, but if he gets a jump shot this year, then it should be his.
It'll be interesting. Listen,
He's going to have more of a jump shot. Like, we don't know to what extent.
If Giannis hits 32% from 3,
32, that's all? That's all he needs?
That's all he needs.
Minimum.
I get that. What was he last year?
But
25?
But shooting like 5 a game, 5, 6 a game.
Oh, if he shoots.
I
don't know if I want him shooting 5, 6 a game.
But if he makes 32%.
If he's making them, yeah, I
he
guess.
is lights out. Forget it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to first team All-NBA. Let me remind you, obviously, boys, 2 guards, 2 forwards, 1 center. Shoot.
So if my MVP is Joel Embiid, he's got to be my first team all-center. No disrespect to my man Nikola Jokic, who I love. But Jokic was first team last year. I think Embiid overtakes him this year.
Yeah.
The forward spot is the toughest spot to handle because there's only 2, and we have a plethora of forwards.
Right.
Anthony Davis and Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, LeBron James does not make NBA first team this year. I think his days as a first team All-NBA are behind him now.
Wow.
I do. My guards, James Harden, of course, and this one might shock you. No Steph Curry, Dame Lillard.
Woo! What a shock, but I like it.
That's my All-NBA first team.
Shaq disagrees.
Shaq's
very
like,
much, very much so. I like that.
Good luck this year,
though.
Dame. That was my favorite line. Good luck this year, Dame.
Shaq, Dame Lillard's trash.
Who, me? Okay, I got obviously Embiid at the center. I'm gonna go Harden and Steph at the guards. I think Steph will have a big year. He's already dropping 40 in the preseason.
Might.
2 forwards, obviously Antetokounmpo, and I'm going LeBron. I'm saying LeBron comes
Over
back
Anthony
strong.
Davis.
Yeah, over Anthony Davis. It's going to be his team. I think it's going to be, when you look at that team, they're going to be very good. And I don't think anybody's going to say it's not LeBron's team this year. Even if he were to
it's
step
not the year
back,
for that.
he might average a triple-double or something. He could. He comes close every year.
When he steps back, he will average a triple-double.
Right, when he steps back.
He is that good.
If he takes
is
less
that
shots, he could average a triple-double.
I wonder, again, because it's voted on by the media, how much the media is ready to be done with LeBron.
Especially after they might penalize him for China.
He said that one thing, in the presser about politics, so I'm not
You're not the king.
You're done. You're not the king of politics or the court. Okay.
Go
I think we all agree on our center. I have Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And then I have Giannis, obviously, and I have LeBron in there because I can't.
So Anthony Davis is the only one that I differ from you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Guards.
And then I have Harden.
Yep, we all have Harden.
And then Kawhi.
Well, Kawhi's a forward, so you can't.
Well, he could technically be a guard, but Steph then.
Okay, so you and Murphy.
I do feel crazy not having Kawhi on that team.
I know.
Maybe
me too. That's why I tried to stick him
maybe the load
somewhere.
management.
Tried to stick him somewhere.
Well, here's the thing. They'll probably put Paul at the 2. Actually, they might. Who knows what they're going to do?
Right.
They get,
maybe I'm not mad at you for sticking Kawhi.
No. I mean, because he could play guard. They could put him at the 2.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I try to think about it that way, and I wanted him in there so bad. I was like, let me push him to a guard so I can fit in, my people.
We ain't got no issues with that.
You guys are so supportive.
If Durant were playing, he'd be 3rd team this year.
Listen,
well,
stop.
Wait,
Don't
could
do that.
you
Don't
imagine
do that.
how hard
That's
it
an
would be
inside
to
joke.
choose these if Durant was in the picture?
Well, that's the thing,
because
right?
let's be honest, he would be in all of these.
Well, that's the thing, right? Then it's like, who are you kicking out?
Exactly.
Someone's got to get the boot, right?
So it's interesting. So
DPOY.
Yes. Next up, Defensive Player of the Year. Who do we got?
This one's tough.
It is tough.
Can I tell you what I was actually tempted to do? For only it can only happen twice in NBA history. I was thinking of making Joel Embiid also my Defensive Player of the Year.
Woof.
It's only happened twice in history that a player's won
lot of people
MVP and DPOY. Do you know who the 2 players were?
No.
What was that? Oh, sorry.
Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in
Russell?
the same year.
I do know this, and I can't remember.
No, Jordan
Yes.
and Akeem.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
So I know that fresh off the top of my head because somebody and I were talking about it the other day.
And Embiid's, remember I said on last week's pod, there's only 5 dudes in the league who have the tools to be able to win DPOY and MVP. It's LeBron, it's Giannis, Anthony Davis, Joel, and a healthy Kevin Durant. Those are the only 5 guys because of their size and what they can do and their offensive ability. No one else can really do that. I mean, I guess in theory Kawhi could also do it.
Kawhi could do it.
You know, but it's a short list.
Right.
It is a short list.
But I didn't pull the trigger on it. I'm gonna say Miles Turner, DPOY, Indiana.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
Miles is a good defender, and I feel like Indiana should have a good year. I'm a little worried because Oladipo, I don't know when he's coming back, so they might, falter record-wise. And if their record's crap, he won't get any love.
Okay.
But I think he's a good defender.
I'm gonna go the easy route and go Bear again.
I mean, listen, because the question ultimately becomes who's gonna take it from Rudy,
right?
Like that's what you won it 2 years in a row,
and they're gonna be very good or better.
My God,
this
really
year.
good defensively. So
I have Joel Embiid.
I like it. MVP, DPOY. I like it.
He appears to be in the best shape of his life.
And he said he wants both.
And I just feel a shift with him this season within physicality, maturity, everything. I
That
think
loss hurt him last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
It really did.
I think we all felt it.
Yeah,
and
I was crying with him.
Not that it doesn't hurt any other player, but that really stung. Just from having a conversation with him personally about it as well, he was super emotional.
And I think he knows because he said it. I let my teammates down. Right? Like, he wasn't able to be on the court. Remember, that day that he had the stomach issue, I was down at Philly for that game, and I remember all the chatter around the arena. I was like, what do you mean he's not playing? And then I was like, oh, no, dude's got to – and it's all about his diet and all these things, and it's like he seems to realize, again, everyone in the NBA is talented, but if I want to be that dude,
right,
you have to take your everything to another level of seriousness.
Yeah.
And I think he's realizing – I gotta stop fooling around if I really want to be that dude.
Yeah, and he showed last year. I mean, what a beast he was. I didn't even know he was that good.
I mean, 27 and 13 last year?
Yeah, I mean, when he really came to play in regular season, postseason, I mean, he was absolutely dominant.
Couldn't check him.
Eye opening. So I mean, if he can gain some more consistency, stay in shape, like you said, I mean,
monster.
Yeah,
that's the best big man in the league. I mean,
yeah,
monster.
Okay, well. We all agree on that one. Let's talk about Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. I mean, is it unanimous at this point?
This one I think is easy. I wanted just to mess with Murphy. I was like, I'm going to go John Morant.
He was in my top 3. You back that up.
Just to mess with Murphy. But look.
He looked good the other day in preseason.
And he's going to be throwing lots to my boy Triple J.
Nice handles, yeah.
But let's keep it 100.
It might be a long year for them.
Hey, listen, I love Memphis, but damn, they're not going to be good.
Right. I'm watching them.
But I'm going to watch them on League Pass. Look, unless Zion gets hurt,
right,
it's gonna be Zion.
It's gonna be Zion. I mean, look at the numbers he's putting up in the preseason. We already talked about it, but
yeah, he's not even a rookie. Is he a rookie?
Is he gonna be a better rookie than Luka Doncic?
Yes.
Well, I think I mentioned this last year on one of the podcasts we were on. I was like, that's what I would like if he's getting all this hype. This is before preseason. He's getting all this hype. Blah blah blah. I mean, that's kind of what – I mean, Luka Doncic was a great rookie. I mean, he didn't get that hype, coming in. Yeah. So you should expect something similar.
But the thing is, you also have to think about it, too, and I hate to put this card on the table, but Rookie of the Year, it's a more flashy award. It's more of a popularity contest sometimes, a part of it.
It's a narrative.
I mean,
all those awards are
Zion has
narrative
already
based.
signed the shoe deal. He's already a man of the people. I've personally spoken to him. He is a personable, bubbly, out there kind of guy.
By the way, I don't love that he signed with Brand Jordan, to be honest.
Really?
Only because I feel like they haven't put out dope signature shoes. Like, Brand Jordan has Carmelo, they have Chris Paul, they have Russell Westbrook. You know what A&M shoes look like?
No, but I'm an old man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know any.
I don't know what these young kids be out here doing.
But I kind of liked it because he went and did his own thing. Like, I like that. He could have signed with Nike just like everybody else.
Right.
But he kind of tried to create his own path.
Right.
Try to maybe bring Jordan back.
I do wonder though.
If there's someone who could do it, I think
is your shoe ever going to be bigger than the Legend shoe?
No, of course not.
So you're ever going to get out of that shadow? Like it's.
Or you never maybe. There's a first for everything.
He might be the greatest player of all time.
I mean,
who knows?
You never know. You never know.
All right.
Don't get me started.
If he stays healthy.
Listen, sky's the limit.
I can't with you guys. Okay. Let's move on to sixth man of the year.
The Lou Williams Award?
Right.
That's my pick.
So,
So,
well,
bye.
He's coming off the bench again.
He is.
Yeah. So
I didn't pick Lou just to go different. Listen, but I went with Spencer
I want to
Dinwiddie.
hear you're different.
I went Dinwiddie just because I'm like, you know what? Dinwiddie's going to be the captain of that second unit in Brooklyn.
He was my close
Homer.
second.
I know. Just we cover the Nets. So I'm like, let me go.
I was just playing.
But look, listen. Lou, it's probably going to be Lou Williams, but I'm like, Spencer had a case last year before he got hurt. So if he stays healthy,
He did have
might
a
have a
case.
chance.
He did have a case.
No, I love Spencer.
he's a good player.
Is that your pick?
But you
No,
at Lou Will.
Lou Williams.
You went
Oh,
Lou
okay,
Will
okay.
too, right?
Yeah,
The
Lou.
Lou
I
Williams
mean,
Award.
it's insane.
It's either the Lou Will or the Manu Ginobili Award, right? It's like those are the awards. Those are the
Very
people who
true.
won the most.
Very true. I have somebody telling us on Instagram here that it will not be Lou. So
Ooh.
maybe they feel like it will be
Okay.
your pick.
I think,
Maybe.
and Lou goes for it. That's the thing.
Oh,
too.
listen, Lou
And Doc Rivers gonna,
And with the team that Lou Williams has behind him, the second unit, he's going to come in right off of that stellar performance from the first. Doc
Lou
Rivers
is
in
a
his ear.
professional scorer, man. That's all that dude does is get buckets.
Yeah.
Literally,
for
that's
real.
all he does.
and now he'll have a more high-profile games to do it in.
Yeah,
And the
oh,
mental
yeah.
toughness, too. You can't beat it. All right. Let's talk about most improved player. This is my favorite award.
Really? So
This is
Pascal
my
won it last year.
favorite.
My guy
Okay.
that I'm picking is my dude from Indiana, DeMontis Sabonis, baby.
What kind of stats is he gonna need? Because he was solid.
He was solid last year, but I think he makes a step up. I think he averages 17 points a year, 17 points a game this season.
Okay.
He steps it up.
I mean, I love Sabonis.
I love his game. I really do. And with Oladipo out, they're gonna need scoring from somewhere. So he might be the camp.
How long is Oladipo out?
They're saying December. Who knows though? I'm getting conflicting reports. Maybe who knows? He might be some issues he's having with the training
thought it was
staff in
December.
Indiana. Now people don't know.
You know what? A lot of people are saying he's on The Masked Singer.
He's an
Side note.
he's
Side
an
note.
he's
Like
an
people are
excellent singer.
saying that. Yeah.
He's a really good singer.
I swear to God, I think he's gonna make it to the end if my prediction is right. Yes, I watched The Masked Singer.
There's
I need to
nothing
get
wrong
it
with that.
like-
You know, nobody judging you here.
Hey, it's a popular show.
Who you got, Mer?
Most improved. I'm going. Frank Ntilikina. No, I'm just joking.
I actually was like, I think
Frank
we're gonna
would have to average like
to
21 points a game. That's
No, but almost.
You did him dirty.
No,
That
I did. I
was
did him
mean.
dirty. I did. It was just a joke.
Frank,
a New York
you got
City
fans
joke.
here.
New York City joke. But I'm another guy who people might laugh at, but I'm going to say Markelle Fultz.
Oh, I like it. I
Shit.
like it. I
He
like
was
it.
on. He was second.
And all he has
like
to do
it.
is average like 10 points.
That's it. That's all he's got to do and shoot the ball.
Like
That's
if he
it.
looks
It's very
halfway,
fair.
like he's on his way back to
That's
being a
it.
player,
They-
he could get it.
You're right. You're
and
right.
from the preseason,
He looks okay.
And even when he was in Philly, and obviously psychologically he was all messed up with the shot and everything. When he did play, he was like a stat sheet stuffer. Like he would have, some games he'd have like 10, 7, and 7 or stuff like that. So he's an all-around player. He has skills. I believe it's all mental with him.
Orlando's going to be in the playoff hunt. So
Right.
listen.
Right. I think he's like a 6 man there.
Yeah.
At least in the preseason, that's how they're using him. So we'll see.
I don't disagree with that pick. Who you got? You can call Lou Williams. It's fine. So Lou Williams.
No, I didn't say
no,
Lou
that was
Williams.
6 million. That's 6
I
million.
didn't.
Who's MIP?
No.
You were good. You went. What's his first last year? You went. De'Aaron Fox last year,
I did.
which is an excellent pick.
For what, 6? No, that's it.
For
For
most
most
improved,
improved.
for
yeah.
most improved.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
it's
He almost
like-
won it. He was in the running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You guys aren't gonna expect this one.
All right, I love it. I'm always ready for a wild card.
So my top 3, I'll tell you 2 and
Top
3
3.
right now were Markelle Fultz,
Like it.
Zach LaVine,
Oh,
but I'm gonna go with Jonathan Isaac.
oh, I like
Okay.
it. I like that
That's not
pick a
bad at
lot.
all.
Again, Orlando's going to be in the playoff hunt. Excellent pick by you.
Yeah, he's a player.
Thank you.
I know. I can't.
Yeah,
be,
he's a player.
I can't be gassing her up too much. Coach of the year.
What were his stats last year? That's the only thing.
Yeah, he wasn't he wasn't averaging like 17 or 18. He's got to
So
be
like
somewhere
12,
in that.
11,
He's got to be
12.
somewhere in that. If he's like
so
16,
if he boosted up to like 17.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he'll
need
be
a
that
little
dude.
more from
And they make the
Jonathan
playoffs.
Isaac, but we got it. We got it here.
Coach of the year, man. It's tough, man. I had a couple different people on here. It's likely going to be Mike Malone because they typically go for someone who wins like 50-something games and is at the top of the conference. And I think Denver's going to be that kind of team this year. Not because I think they're better than the Clippers or better than the Lakers, but they're going to be a very good regular
Who
season
won it
team.
last year again?
Bud knows it. Yeah.
right,
So
that makes sense. They won't get it.
They won't get it again. But that's who typically wins these kinds of awards. So they're going to be a very good regular season team with all the continuity. But my dark horses, Alvin Gentry of the Pelicans.
I like that.
You like it.
Kenny Atkinson in Brooklyn and Eric Spoelstra. Those are my.
I mean, those are great picks.
Those are my dark horses.
Those are great picks.
Huh.
And let me just say, the Pelicans are my new favorite team.
I mean,
Okay.
why not?
That's my team.
Listen, how fun
Is
are
it
they?
because of Zion?
Partly.
How fun are they going to be?
I'm also a huge Lonzo Ball fan. Always have been.
How fun are they going to be this year to watch?
I mean, very fun.
I
Very
have
fun.
a
I
question.
mean, I'm watching every game, so.
I have a question for you about Lonzo Ball after this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach of the year, I'm gonna go Quinn Snyder.
Oh, I like it.
Ooh.
Utah. I
Utah.
like it.
He
I
was
like
he was
that
actually in he was
too.
actually in the running
He was.
last year.
He was.
I think they could be top 3-4 team in the West, maybe even higher.
I
You
like-
never
I
know.
like that a lot.
Regular season.
I like that a lot.
I mean the team they have. See, usually teams that are stacked, the coach won't win
Yep.
Coach of the Year. This team is actually stacked, but it's not
But,
stacked.
like, not
with
stacked like
name,
that,
like
right.
where people like automatically
like
assume
the
they're gonna
Golden
do
State
well.
Warriors of the
Right,
past, or
like
whatever.
Bogdanovich. People are
Right.
gonna be like, oh, who's that?
Yeah.
You know, Conley.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm not mad at that pick. I like them a lot.
I do too.
Who you got?
In my lineup, I did have Kenny Atkinson.
Okay.
I had Utah as coach.
Quinn Snyder. Yeah.
But I just can't get over Doc Rivers. It's
Okay.
going to be Doc Rivers.
I like it.
that's not bad at all.
Doc, listen,
It's going to be Doc Rivers. Depending on how this man handles this team, it's going to be him.
this is a
Especially if they win the West.
Oh my gosh.
God.
That's it. The Clippers. Can you imagine you were ever going to say that? The Clippers.
Do you like the new unis?
I do.
Yes,
I do.
100%.
The Grand Theft Auto looking unis. I like that.
Yeah.
They're dope.
100%.
My hot take, real quick.
Oh, I can't wait for you guys to get so mad at my hot take.
The Bucks will not make the conference finals in the East.
Who will?
The Sixers, and if the Miami Heat, if they make a trade, or
Don't tell me the Brooklyn Nets.
the Brooklyn Nets.
I never know.
You never
Kyrie,
know.
then Kyrie better be on the first team.
Kyrie, you never know.
Better be a first team
You
player.
never know. I will say, really quick, by the way, last year, my hot take was correct. I said the Boston Celtics will not make the conference finals.
Oh, my
They
God, you
did
did.
not. I also was correct on first team All NBA. I was correct on MVP. I was also correct on finals matchup. I didn't pick the winner right, though. I picked the worst. I assumed the healthy Kevin Durant, but, I mean, can't predict injuries, so whatever.
Very true. Very true.
Just
And-
saying, so, you know.
No, you were right. I have to say. God damn it. Okay, Murph, give me your hot take.
Hot take. I don't know. I'm gonna say just partly because I want to bring this guy up. So I'm gonna use him in this hot take spot.
Okay.
But my hot take is that Marvin Bagley,
Ooh.
the third or second, whatever.
The
he is.
third.
The
yeah.
third.
The third.
He'd be
third.
extremely offended
Yeah,
if I
sorry.
did not
I'm
correct
sorry,
you on
I'm sorry.
that.
Marvin
He's
Bagley.
actually a friend of mine.
Okay.
He is, yes.
I think he's gonna be an all-star or very close. He'll be like he might even be. Maybe he'll get
I've never
snubbed.
been more happy in my life.
Grabbing the mic up.
But I think he is the real deal. I thought that at Duke. I thought wrongly
Wow.
that he should have been the
Oh,
number
wow.
one pick. I take it back now
Right.
because other guys have
Right.
shown that they're
Right.
as good or better. But he is the real deal. And then from
I'm not
everything
mad
you
at
hear
that.
of what he did in the FIBA
Yeah,
on the
in
FIBA
FIBA
team
World
before he
Championships,
dropped out,
yeah.
and then I caught him a couple preseason games. He's leading them in points and rebounds. almost every
I'm not mad
preseason
at
game.
that.
I mean, he has a serious skill set.
He does. Listen.
And I think people are going to be like, whoa.
Sacramento's going to be interesting because they just missed the playoffs last year, but the West is so loaded. So many people had them out this year. But look,
Right.
if Bagley and Fox make a jump and they get production from Harry Giles,
Right.
how do you keep them out?
Right. Well, Walton,
Well,
is he a good coach?
is he good? Oh,
We don't know.
we're going to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be a test this year, too.
Mm-hmm.
My hot take
I'm ready for this wildness.
is that I'm actually going to get punched in the face probably as soon as I walk out of here.
Anybody punching? What's up?
Not by you guys,
Oh,
but
no,
like
no.
God only knows if anybody hears this. My hot take is that Ben Simmons is going to be in the MVP conversations.
I like that. Actually.
I like it.
I like
That's
that.
not a hot take.
I'm not saying-
it is a hot take.
I'm not
It is a
saying
hot
he's
take.
going to be in the MVP, but he's going to be heavy in the conversation.
I'll tell you what, if he's hitting jumpers,
Right. And if he's heavy in the conversation, that means Philly is no joke.
Yeah. And Al Horford.
Right.
Al Horford.
that team defensively is a nightmare.
Oh,
Nightmare.
How many threes a game will he take?
Ben.
Yeah.
He has to take at least 4.
I mean, since you're saying
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna go from 5-7.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot.
He's the new ambassador for Smart Water now. I mean, come on.
Well, I know that
it is what it is.
I've been looking at the preseason box scores. Ever since he hit that 3, he hasn't taken a 3 since then.
I know.
You gotta I don't care. Just take
Just
him.
take
Go
him,
over 3,
dude.
bro.
Who cares?
Just for
Take
fun.
Just
to get the
take
crowd to cheer.
This is where I'm going to
Preseason.
come in. This is where I'm going to come in and tell y'all that you're just too much right now.
Who, me?
It's preseason.
Listen,
He's going to do it.
What, you gonna all of a sudden break out 4 threes in a
But
game?
5-7 is a lot.
That's a lot of
Listen,
threes.
first of all, this double team that y'all got going on here, that's going to end right now.
0 of 7
That's
from
going to
3?
end right now.
My bad. I apologize.
I'm telling you, it's going to be 5-7 per game. He's going to be in the MVP conversations.
Love that hot take.
Once he gets this jump shot, sorry, boys.
Oh, it's over.
Lights out.
Listen.
Lights out.
It's over.
It's over. The East. That's it. All right. That's all we have time for.
That's a wrap on us today, guys.
That is a wrap, baby.
Thank you to our good friend, Jamal Murphy, again, co-host of the Bill Rhoden on Sports Podcast. Find him on CBS Local. He does work with the Undefeated. You can find him on social media at Blackatologist. One of my favorite Twitter handles ever.
Even though he challenges a lot of my takes, I still
Do I?
love it.
Nah, not me. Come on.
Some.
Come on.
Some.
Come on. No, thanks for having me. This was great.
Thank
Long
you for
overdue.
coming.
Appreciate it. Great
Oh,
time.
we're gonna have you back. You know that for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
When all my predictions are correct, call me back. If not,
Don't call me.
yeah, don't call.
He'll be hiding out. All right. Thanks, guys, for hanging with us. We will see you next week at the official start of the NBA
Woo!
season.
Let's get it.
Let's do it, guys.
Wait, no college basketball questions?
Oh,
No,
oh,
I'm just playing.
we
I'm just
good.
playing.
Oh, my God. Somebody end this right now before I die. Oh, really quick. Do you see where LeVar Ball was like, Lonzo's not like.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't here back. I don't wanna trap, what's a man gonna do? Chevy told me come through to the spot. Got a little kickback, bring the whole crew. Right around 10, came dressed to the nines. You already know what we really finna do when we pull up on the scene. Pull up on the scene, pull up on the scene. Yeah, we pull up on the scene. See, my life is a movie. Pull up on the scene, did it so smoothly. Pull up on the scene. Mario Kart when I'm out on the road. Only out for peaches and getting that cream. Cash rules, everything is